I think social media is one of the biggest concerns for me, and the exposure it has to, in particular, vulnerable people. And I'm not just talking here about, elderly people, but also younger individuals and or indeed people from lower income families where 200, £300 a month is going to make a significant difference to what they can put on the table for their children.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it is. I think you've hit the nail there. It is generally younger people. The older people generally don't use social media in that same sort of way. But the younger people, that is the primary recruitment channel now for mules. So to create mule accounts and for youngsters to be recruited into, like you say, money laundering. Even things like, I don't know if I put a post out on LinkedIn a little while ago, but things like violence as a service. So like getting youngsters and people to commit the crimes of the organized crime gangs for a fee, or to be given a bit of money. That's how they're recruiting these individuals as well, through social media platforms. But I think beyond that, I think social media platforms have a lot to answer for, and I think there's a lot they're not doing, because I don't know if anyone's tried it out, but I've certainly tried it out, on a regular basis, and it still stays the same. If you go into, not that I've got these accounts, I created them for research purposes only, but things like TikTok,
Caveat out there, Adam.
things like TikTok and Facebook, and those accounts. If you go into things like the marketplaces, I don't know if anyone has done that yet, but you go into marketplaces and you just scroll down. There's sponsored adverts for people offering to, money laundering, saying, can you launder money for us? And there's people just with loads of money, thousands of pounds they're throwing around the room or in a bedroom, or they're putting it through a cash counting machine, saying if you want this lifestyle, contact us now. And it generally links to some sort of Telegram account, and you can then start making money, albeit you're laundering someone else's money through your bank account. The other thing they're also advertising as well, which is actually quite a common thing, if you just scroll down, you won't have to scroll far to find it, is there's adverts for businesses offering counterfeit cash, cloned cards, offering cards with money from PayPal, aka stolen, compromised accounts, etc., etc. And the list goes on and on. But it isn't hard, even as Joe Blogs Public, you'd have to look hard to find these adverts on these social media platforms, and they're sponsored, or they're adverts that have been paid for, probably through some third-party companies. But the fact is, it is pretty rife on that. And we all talk about fighting financial crime and tackling financial crime, but the fact is, it is available to tens of, if not hundreds of millions of people around the world, through social media, not just one platform, but pretty much every platform in some way, shape, or form. You can access these services, you can access this money, and you can actually access criminals looking to recruit you. So yeah, there's certainly more needs to be done by social media platforms to, not have it openly available, and actually as free as it is as well.
I've actually worked with and worked alongside some mothers whose children have actually killed themselves, unfortunately, as a result of these sextortion gangs that are run out of, primarily, we see it Western Africa, not Southeast Asia. That's more kind of the pig butchering, crypto scams that we're seeing there, romance scams. But these ones are primarily coming out of Western Africa. And when I then go back to what are we doing to protect our children? And as a mother of 3 daughters, I'm very, very aware of, they watch YouTube, and I, sometimes I see things come up and I'm like, girls, that's not even, some of the language that's used, that's not okay. What defenses and what protections are we really putting in place to support the vulnerable? I feel a lot of the onus is actually is being put on either the parents who have lost their children, or indeed the police force, who are already absolutely swamped and have limited financial capabilities. And I think we need to see much more at a government level, or indeed an international level, because these aren't isolated in-country crimes. They are cross-border crimes. And as we saw with may I say, the pig butchering in Southeast Asia, when the Thai authorities were approached, sorry, my computer likes to zoom right in on me. When when the Thai authorities, and I saw that this was actually broadcast on a news interview, when they were approached about why aren't we doing more to shut down these compounds that are being used for the procurement of these pig butchering scams, the response was, well, most of these crimes that are happening overseas. So they're not within our jurisdiction. So we need international cooperation. And yes, there are victims of human trafficking. Yes, there are victims who have been kidnapped that are basically locked within these compounds, but it's private property, and without real evidence of illicit activity happening that we can pinpoint to this location, we are powerless to enter. And so you end up with this kind of whole public partnerships between enforcement bodies, and it's really, really difficult. And I understand their challenges from the legalities. So once again, we are all bound by the legal system, but yet the
But
illicit actors are not. So go ahead, Adam.
no, I was going to say, going back to the whole social media thing, you're right. Generally, it's on parents, charities, schools to educate, law enforcement. But one thing we've seen recently, due to the political changes, is some of these social media platforms, and I'm not going to name them, have actually wound back or even got rid of some of their governance teams, their sort of like bad content teams, the teams that sort of like doing some of the audits. So they've actually sort of gone backwards in terms of how they're sort of controlling this content and stuff going out. But yeah, I certainly think we need to do more. And like I said at the start, it's anyone, and I mean anyone on social media could find an advert and reach out to somebody probably within 2 or 3 minutes of accessing sort of things like marketplaces and that. That's how easy it is on these sites, and it's shocking, really. We're trying to fight financial crime on one hand, but yet you've got literally within 1 or 2 minutes, I could probably reach out to somebody who's going to offer me a cloned card or some cash, or and that I'm not intertwined into the criminal network and have criminals as friends or anything. That's not not at all. But the fact is, as Joe Blogs Public, I could access and contact somebody within probably 2 minutes, which is scary. It is so scary that is the case.